to get rants on things. But to be quite honest with you, I have a problem with multiplayer-based games that honestly uh, attract people who don't understand the word teamwork. It's almost as if they can't spell it. It's almost as if they can't um, abide by it. When you're playing a team-based game, and this goes into DICE's recent patch, I figured to give a more diplomatic type of explanation for this rather than just going on the attack. Because I know um, it's very popular to fly off the handle and just to get views and clicks and subscriptions and things such as that. But one of the main things that happens when you create video games that
Rebel Alliance have exited hyperspace and are launching an attack.
that's a beautiful
They're
view.
targeting
But anyway,
our
back on
Star
topic.
Destroyer. Stop them.
One of the things that is difficult when creating games that are team-based is the fact that you have to dedicate yourself to making them team-based. Meaning that if you're going to have a game like Battlefront to where you need to work together, you need to have it where people can communicate and talk to one another. Not just sit around and happen to be connected together and hope and pray that your opponent is smart enough or your partner is smart enough to follow the objective. So DICE recently came out and made a patch to fix the difficulty level on Battlestation, because there were people who came out and complained about how difficult it was to move from stage to stage. The problem with this is, and it's the same thing that happened to Walker Assault when it first came out, is that for some reason the people who complain the most are the people who don't follow the objective. So you have a community of people who don't understand that you need to play the objective. The main objective of Walker Assault was to simply take down the AT-AT, and you have to work towards that goal in order to get that to happen. Since that didn't happen, the beta was the best time when playing that. So I'm playing this game right now, and I'm watching people take down these shield generators quickly. Okay? They're being taken down at breakneck speed. Now, it's making it nearly impossible to win on the Imperial side and to stop people from moving on to the next stage, because you have people who complain and whine and moan about the level of difficulty for this. Now, I'm not one of those people who sit back on a porch and talk about how good the old days were. But to be quite honest with you, if this was Super Star Wars, or Super Empire Strikes Back, or Super Return of the Jedi, and that game came out in this day and age, it would be patched. That game was difficult to play. Super Star Wars is difficult to play. And the reason why it's difficult to play is because that's the way the game is. It's up to you to find a way to be stronger in order to think and outsmart the challenging game that you have. You know, if every game goes back and patches itself because of how the community whines and complains about how difficult it is to do something, then it never gets complete. You never get to enjoy the full immersion of the game. So instead, what you have is a Defender Star Destroyer, where now the shield generators only take a few hits and it takes it down, and people move on to the next level. Now, what was wrong with Battlestation prior to this patch? Nothing. I won matches where you had to defend the Death Star, defend the Star Destroyer, where you had to attack the Star Destroyer. Both I won because I understand something called playing the objective. Now, if you can't play the objective, that's not DICE's fault. DICE shouldn't have to patch the game. That's your fault. The only thing I blame DICE for, and I always say when DICE is worthy of criticism, DICE will get criticism. It's not going to be something that I will veer away from.
Behind you.
When you have a game that you made specifically to be multiplayer and you need teamwork, you need to open up communication. Now, DICE has had this game out for nearly 12 months now, for nearly a year. We're now in October, and this is where we're facing. You have a game now where you need to rely on people next to you to play the objective, to do what they need to do, and you're hoping and praying that they have enough common sense to play the objective. These games are not lost because of how difficult it was to take down a Star Destroyer. These games are lost because of how undisciplined and how a lack of concentration to play the objective happens. Okay? So now, DICE, you've made it impossible to win for the Imperial side instead of making it equally impossible or equally easy for either side now. So now you can have an average team play on the Rebellion side, take down a Star Destroyer with ease, and now you can move on to the next step no matter what happens because of how easy you made this game. I, for one, again, like I said, I'm trying not to turn this into a bash thing, but I'm just going to have to do it. This is a result of what I like to call the participation award generation. You know, where you can't have people who now are on the honor roll. You can't have people now who can't deal with adversity, deal with difficulty, or deal with problems. Now you have a generation of people, and you live in a gaming society now where if something doesn't work a certain way, or if someone can't get something done, now it's, oh, okay, well, this needs to be patched because it's too difficult. Instead of, you know, where you faced games, I don't know, a generation ago that you would play, and you could easily go back into there, make it work, find a way for it to happen, and successfully beat the game. You know, imagine if Star Wars Shadows of the Empire came out in today's generation, and how difficult that Xizor's Palace was, where you had to beat the gladiators. You know, and imagine how, say, LucasArts had to patch that game. Walker Assault was one of the best modes played in this game during the beta. It was difficult for the Rebellion to take down the AT-ATs because it was difficult for the Rebellion to do so in the movie as well. It's supposed to feel that way. You're supposed to have a challenge. This is the same thing. Okay? You're on the offense. The Imperials are on the defense. Okay? The Imperials' job is to make sure you don't get to the Death Star to destroy it. So by making it easy for people, like this right here, now that you made it easy, now you have a team that's getting instant gratification for something because they didn't play it well. I like DICE, okay? Don't get me wrong. I like DICE. But the problem I have with DICE is that DICE caters to the whining part of this community way too quick, way too fast, without observing something and saying, you know what? The game is difficult for a reason. The mode is difficult for a reason. This is what you need to do. Okay? So stop patching it, and you know, it won't get patched. Find a way to defend it.
We believe they are attempting some kind of rescue mission. Cut them
I
off.
just don't get it. I just don't get it. And I know, ironically, funny enough, I'm complaining about how easy it is. I never had a problem with Battlestation and how difficult it was, because I understand that you have to play the objective. Okay? You have to play the objective. And you have people on this team who will sit up there and they'll use a hero, and they'll use a hero for the wrong reasons. The heroes are there to push forward the objective. The heroes are not there for kill-death ratio. And this is the same problem that I had in Rainbow Six and most games online, is that you attract these people who do things for the wrong reasons, then they get killed, and then they complain to DICE and complain to the forums or whoever, and they say, oh, well, I can't win this match because it's too hard, it's too difficult. No, it's too hard because you don't follow directions. It's too hard because you don't play the objective. How difficult is that? You know, I don't mind losing. I don't mind losing games because it teaches me that I need to do something different. I need to change my strategy. I come from a generation where, you know, yeah, those games were difficult and it taught you how to approach something differently. You know, I really just don't want to make this video to bash people, but I feel like it's just gonna have to be that way. You know, I feel like you're growing up in a generation that I just don't want to be a part of. You know, where you have people play games, the kids play games, and they're complaining that the games are too hard, and the parents are out there trying to, you know, fight for these kids to play these games easy, and it's dumb. Games should not be made easy to games should not be made easy to appease people. You know, games should be difficult. There should be some difficulty to the game. That's what makes the game addictive. That's just how I feel about it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. Who knows? Who cares? But the bottom line is that they should not have changed it. They should not have changed it.
We have brought in support.
It's just dumb. It should not change it. You're making a game easy now to appease people who are average gamers who don't follow attention and don't follow along the lines to get something done. Darth Vader should be difficult to beat. He's Darth Vader. The Emperor should be difficult to beat. He's the Emperor. You know, you shouldn't have to nerf something just because the community whines and complains about something. Look into why they're complaining. Look into why they're complaining. Look into why something's difficult. You know.